Welcome back to Wrestling Flash. In this video we are going to look at the following WWE news and rumors. Daniel Bryan talks about leaving WWE very soon, Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins set to join forces on SmackDown, Aleister Black returning with a new avatar, Shirai makes her WWE SmackDown debut, and more. Be sure to drop a like and subscribe for more wrestling content. The future of Daniel Bryan and the WWE has come into question following WrestleMania 37. Daniel Bryan is one of the most passionate performers in the history of this industry. Still, during Night 2 of WrestleMania 37, he felt an odd detachment during his triple threat match with Edge and Universal Champion Roman Reigns. So much so that he is questioning if it's time to stop being a full-time performer. Speaking to BT Sport Today, Bryan spoke about the bizarre feeling he had during this year's WrestleMania. He stated it was unlike anything he's ever felt while wrestling. "It was really bizarre," Bryan said. "It's taken me time to fully process what the experience was like because it wasn't like a normal thing. I felt very out of body in it. When I'm wrestling, I feel everything and feel like I'm enjoying it. This was weird. I was out there, and it felt like I was detached. It was so strange that before the match started, I got this strange feeling like, oh no, is this what it's like before you die? Am I going to die, huh? Well, okay. I don't know why or how it happened, but it was unlike anything I've felt while wrestling. I haven't watched it back," Bryan continued. "I don't know if watching it back would help figure out why I'm so detached. Maybe it was a sign that it's time to let go of being a full-time wrestler, the odd detachment. I was like, whoa. Like I said, I'm either gonna die, laughs, or maybe it's a sign that this isn't it, and it isn't the same type of fulfillment that it was before. I've been trying to meditate on it and talk to my friends that I'm close with, like, what is that? My contract is up relatively soon. I'm still trying to figure out what I'm doing with my life." Regardless of what Daniel Bryan decides to do, we should be grateful that he gets to retire on his terms instead of being forced into doing so. What are your thoughts on Daniel Bryan's shocking comments? Let us know by sounding off in the comments section below. Seth Rollins had a message for WWE on Fox after its Twitter handle asked the WWE Universe to pick their favorite between him and Universal Champion Roman Reigns. The former Universal Champion noticed the post and decided to make things clear in his response. Rollins stated that it's a blessing for fans that they are getting both him and the Tribal Chief at the same time. He then dubbed himself and Reigns as the GOATs of the company. Rollins stated the following: "Be blessed that you exist in a moment where you get us both. Two GOATs are better than one." Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns were both heavily pushed to the top following the former's heel turn in mid-2014, and the implosion of the Shield as a result. Rollins cashed in his Money in the Bank briefcase during the WWE Championship match between Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar in the main event of WrestleMania 31. He pinned Reigns to win the title in the biggest triumph of his career to date. Reigns headlined 4 consecutive WrestleMania events in a row and is currently the biggest heel on WWE TV. He had a controversial run as a babyface with fans bashing WWE for pushing his character down their throats. His victory over The Undertaker at WrestleMania 33 didn't help matters at all. It was Reigns' heel turn at SummerSlam 2020 that finally delighted the WWE Universe, and he's been doing quite possibly the best work of his career since then. Rollins is currently also on WWE SmackDown, and is another top heel on the brand. These two stars are bound to clash somewhere down the line, as Rollins would certainly want a shot at the Universal title. What would be your pick if you were asked to choose between Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins? Sound off in the comments section below. The post-WrestleMania episode of WWE SmackDown did not draw a major number, and hence, surprises are necessary. It does seem like the company is going to phone it in until WrestleMania Backlash comes around, which just seems like it'll continue the existing feuds we see on TV. A few jolts are necessary. A twist, a turn or two, to remind the audience that anything can happen on WWE SmackDown. So, here are 5 surprises that are rumored to happen this week. Feel free to share your thoughts and views in the comments below, and let us know what you'd like to see on this week's show. Number 5. Seth Rollins forms a pact with SmackDown stars Roman Reigns and Jey. From the social media post that Seth Rollins recently made, it does seem like he and Roman Reigns may be cordial. One may go so far as to say that they have been presented as friends. Could this be a prelude to a brand new version of the Shield being formed on SmackDown this week? Well, let's just say that it may be a little difficult to get Dean Ambrose to fill in the third spot, for obvious reasons. The easiest solution to the problem could come in the form of Jey, who would be a fantastic third member for the heel trio in its current avatar. All of them have a mutual foe in the form of Cesaro, as Seth Rollins has made it clear that he's not done with the Swiss cyborg yet, through his actions on SmackDown last week. Would you like to see this version of the Shield? Number 4, Mia Yim steps up to WWE SmackDown Women's Champion Bianca Belair. It turns out that WWE SmackDown is in for a reckoning. It may also come in the form of a former Raw star reckoning, who recently moved to the SmackDown brand. Chances are, now that the whole gimmick has been dropped, she will revert to the Mia Yim character. Imagine the kind of impact she could make if, on her WWE SmackDown debut, Reckoning takes off her mask and says she is Mia Yim, getting in Bianca Belair's face. The HBIC, as she dubs herself, could make quite a splash, going right for the SmackDown Women's Championship, even if she were to come up short in her debut attempt. Obviously, Bianca Belair is the face of the brand and there's no way that she is losing the title anytime soon. But for Mia Yim to have a competitive showing against Belair would just establish her as the future. Plus, Belair needs strong opponents to work against, beyond Sasha Banks, Bayley, and Carmella. Number 3, Cesaro and Big E form an alliance on WWE SmackDown. Many dub SmackDown superstar Cesaro as Superman, but chances are that even he cannot take on multiple opponents. When confronted by such a massive threat as Roman Reigns, Jey, and Seth Rollins, Cesaro may find that all the uppercuts and swings in the world may not be enough. This is why he could form an alliance with Big E, which could have long-term consequences on SmackDown. Simply put, once Roman Reigns and Cesaro are done jousting over the Universal Championship, Big E could enter the title picture in the lead-up to SummerSlam, and maybe at SummerSlam, Big E brings Roman Reigns' reign to an end. But all of this could begin on this week's edition of SmackDown when Cesaro and Big E form a temporary alliance. Big E should not go back to the well and face Apollo Crews again, because that's a feud that's over and done with. He needs to climb up the ranks with something he can sink his teeth into. Number 2, Shirai makes her SmackDown debut. The WWE SmackDown Women's division suffered a massive setback when Billie Kay was let go from the company. To compensate for her departure, the division may decide to bring in Shirai from NXT, who can mix it up with the stacked roster. The Genius of the Sky would be a welcome addition to the division. Shirai can excel both as a babyface and a heel, as we've seen during her NXT stint. She is also an incredible worker, and in time, will be a great opponent for the likes of Bianca Belair, Sasha Banks, and Bayley. In fact, her first feud on SmackDown should be against Bayley, and she should go over. Shirai has spent far too much time in NXT, and it may be time for her to make a splash in a big way. WWE SmackDown also needs fresh new blood to keep Bianca Belair exciting and interesting for fans. Do you guys think that she is ready for the main roster? Number 1, Aleister Black returns to action on SmackDown in a brand new avatar. The final SmackDown surprise may involve a certain gentleman named Aleister Black, who has been teasing a repackaging based on the vignette he recently posted.
To call the herd.
His wife may no longer be employed by the company, but he's still a very valuable commodity, and he may climb up the WWE SmackDown ranks starting this week. It would be really cool to see Aleister Black take on Intercontinental Champion Apollo Crews in a series of matches that raises the value and equity of the championship. Black is just far too valuable a player to be sitting on the sidelines for months on end. Or would you rather have Aleister Black step up to Roman Reigns and challenge him for the Universal Championship?